What's up, everybody? Matt Nuzzo, we're here at Reel. Today we get to talk to you about the Appletree Apple Slice Prone Foilboard. It's a lot to say. Okay, so Appletree, it's a custom brand out of Holland that's making their boards in Portugal. They moved their factory to Portugal because there's some really excellent craftsmen and women there that know how to make stuff high quality, and that's what they're focused on, is making high quality boards. So one of the most unique things about Appletree is their 50K foam. They started with their kite boards because they were tired of kite surf boards breaking, and it really is an amazing product for foil boards because it's super stiff and it's really lightweight. So their construction, how they do it, their vacuum bag stuff, you can watch some of our videos or their videos about how they do it. I really don't understand it fully, but they basically are making these boards ultra solid. They're not going to delam. You can leave them in the sun. They're not going to pop or anything like that. They're not going to break. Boxes are not going to break out. They said they had no issues with that. So that's really quite awesome. So Apple Slice is going to be their more intermediate to advanced foil board in their line. They've got the Pro V, Pro Foil, the volume version, and the non-volume version. The non-volume version of that V1 is like really super advanced because it's super thin. But the high volume version is one of the easiest boards to take off from. They took that kind of heavy bow V and they reduced it in the Apple Slice. So but it's still like, they basically wanted to make it a little less pronounced so that when you're hitting foam and things like that, it's not gonna redirect you as much. It's gonna take a little more to take off, but this is one of the better boards I've ever used for taking off on waves, short of the Pro V. So, that being said, is that this is a really cool concept. They've subtled it out a little bit more, which totally is translating to working on this board. A couple other features is they've got fairly big tail. It's kind of squared off, but it does give you push. They've got a pronounced, and the dims on this are actually a little narrower. So the reason I'm saying it's more of an intermediate to advanced board is that with the pronounced concave and a narrower board, it goes rail to rail really quickly and really easily. But if you are an intermediate or beginner foiler and you're putting your feet in different parts and you can't adjust on the foil while you're riding, then you're gonna eat it pretty hard. So when I first started, I put my foot out here, the thing just like rails and goes. I'd have to correct myself, and until I got used to it, it really likes to have your feet right in the middle. That being said, is that going rail to rail on this board is amazing because it is narrow and it has that concave, which makes the board thinner and makes it actually a little bit more, it just basically rolls over really quickly. So I was super impressed with that. The concave's pretty deep and it goes all the way to the front. So when you surf it, there is some water that stays on here, and like I'm pumping, it'll be like water will be like jumping on the board until you bank a decent turn, then it kind of just dumps off the board. But I did notice that the concave is so pronounced that it does hold some water, but the concave adds to a lot of the performance, so you kind of take a little water on the deck here or there, which is more just kind of a distraction, and get better performance. That's totally worth it. So other thing on the Appletree Apple Slice is the boxes are in a good spot, but if you're normally riding your mast all the way forward, you're probably right at the front of the boxes. So some riders are riding, depending on the type of foil, all the way forward. Some foils have more kicks, they're riding them back. So this is better suited to a foil that has a little bit more kick, unless you're, if you're riding your boxes mast all the way forward, you're not going to have as much room to continue to push it forward. That being said, I've been loving the Apple Slice. They do come in a variety of sizes and ranges. This thing pumps like a beast because the construction is so solid and stiff. Turns really well. Is a little bit more performance oriented, so you definitely don't want to get this probably as your first board. But if you're already foil surfing, you want to have a good kind of intermediate board to grow with, Appletree Apple Slice, definitely a great product. Check it out online, realwatersports.com. If you want more reviews, you can go there, or you can actually just call us on the phone. We'll talk to you about foil boarding. 252-987-6000. See you guys on the water.